Hello. Thanks for joining me. This is Revelation for September. Today is Wednesday, September 21st, and this is the 21st chapter of the book of Revelation. Here we are with the familiar chapter, the chapter that is most quoted, most often quoted, most used, most valued, put into everything from creed to funeral service to film. This is the chapter that makes the book of Revelation one that I cherish. I almost just want to read the chapter because it is such a beautiful sentiment. This is the famous part, right? That we've been looking for. A new heaven and a new earth. Both. And I wonder, what's wrong with heaven? Did something happen? No, that's just how it's going to be. A new heaven and a new earth. And maybe we'll explore that at the next, tomorrow as well, what their meaning for a new heaven as well. The new Jerusalem, the city, is adorned as a bride. But also a city. Pretty descriptive of how square she is. The home of God is with mortals. Behold, the home of God is with mortals. This is revelatory. This is revolutionary. God doesn't leave us on the planet alone. God comes down to the earth and makes of the earth a heaven. I love this chapter. Love it. I mean, all the things we've seen up to now, like all this violence and all this cursing and how many people are like espousing themselves to the evil because they don't, it's all gone. This is so beautiful. This passage where it says that, behold, God makes God's dwelling place with mortals, reminds you of Psalm 8, verses 3 and 4. What is man that thou art mindful of him? It's beautiful, beautiful psalm. Psalm 8, the whole psalm's beautiful, but that section 8, 3 and 4 is this, the area of like God wants to be a part of us. Is that amazing? So that's the same. Wiping away every tear from their eyes. These people have been suffering under Rome. They're getting their tears wiped away. Behold, I am making all things new. I said this was used in film. My favorite part of, not my favorite film, The Passion of the Christ. I thought it was good. I did. There's some things I have problems with, mainly that the Satan character was female. But so there's a scene. It's my favorite scene in the film. It's like worse the whole film to me, where he's on the Via Dolorosa and he's carrying the cross and he's been scourged and he's suffering and he's like half dead really, and he falls down. And this goes from a scene that his mother sees him fall and she's in the crowd and she remembers him falling when he was little, and it gets flashbacks back and forth, and finally she makes it over to him, the bleeding adult, nearly dead Jesus, and he looks in her eyes and he says, behold, I make all things new, which is not something from the gospel. It's from this. It's from Revelation 21. It's Revelation 21, 5. Okay, so film and lore and legend and our theology. We build things off of this. Like God comes down to earth and makes of the earth a heaven. And so, then he says it is done, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. The Alpha and the Omega, that's from the celebration of life, or the service of death and remembrance and death and resurrection. So the funeral services that we have in a church service, that prayer is how we open them. And so there's just this wonderful, great, those who conquer will inherit, and then there's a litany of things that the bad people have done. All the sins, that all stacks up right here. They can't have the good without a little bit of bad, so the bad They're there. And then the vision of the New Jerusalem, very descriptive. Very descriptive. Like he's in the dream and he's looking at, and it's very descriptive. So the vision of the New Jerusalem, one of the seven angels that poured the bowl of plague all over the earth, says, come and I'll show you the bride adorned. So this is the city, basically. And what we have is a city that is rare jewels, jasper and crystals, all shiny and golden and perfect. It's viewed from a mountain. So the angel takes John to this mountain so they can see it descending from heaven. Descending from heaven to the earth. And it has a high wall, 12 gates, and each gate is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? That's his primary thing for John. And then there's an angel, there's 12 angels. And then the thing is square, the city's square. There's a big high wall around the city. Did I say that? High wall? It's high wall, and there's 12 gates. So if it's square, there's 4 sides, 3 gates per side. That's how it worked it out. And there's 12 foundations, and the 12 foundations are written on the 12 foundations are the names of the 12 apostles. So 12 and 12. And nothing objectionable could ever enter into this city. This beautiful city, this special city, this really important city. Nothing objectionable can ever enter into it. Only the people whose names are written in the book of life can enter into this city. So it's this perfect city, and it's wonderful, nothing bad. And that's 21. I wish more of this book were like this, but this is it. This is all we get. Some nice things about some of the churches in the very beginning that John wrote. The angel told me to say to you in Philadelphia, you're good people. Thank you for being so persevering. But they're all suffering. They're going through stuff. I mean, it's a negative thing too. So this is just this beautiful image of what is going to happen in the end times. Like God is making God's dwelling with mortals. There is living water here. Remember how water was all the fresh water was all turned to blood and destroyed and polluted? No. That now it's a new heaven and a new earth, and there's fresh water for everybody. And they don't even need a sun because the city glows day and night, and we don't need light from anywhere. This is where the light comes from. It's just so exciting and wonderful, and this is good how it ends. It has a positive ending. And so this is truly a message of hope because of 21. Really because of 21. And just take all this with you. I don't even know. I wish it was parceled out to some of the other books so we could have a little positive thing in each one. But we have all these great sayings and the voice from the throne. This was the theological thing I wanted to talk about. I wrote in my notes. The voice from the throne. Remember we talked about the sword guy? Mm-hmm. The voice from the throne. That is Jesus. Right? The things that he says. Behold, I make all things new. He's saying all that. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. This is God in Jesus form, saying all these things from the throne. So that's where I wanted to say, he might be that rider with the sword in his mouth and all that. But he's definitely that voice from the throne. That's the Jesus I know. So I love chapter 21. I maybe be able to deal without some of the other chapters, but 21 really has held my heart. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow for the last day of the last book.